What's up everyone, I'm the Kaijun Okami, and today I'm going to do something a bit different. Instead of doing a regular review or a comparison or whatever, I'm going to just take a small look into the Mega Man franchise. For those of you that might not know this, Mega Man is known in Japan as Rockman. Created by Keiji Inafune in 1987, Mega Man was about a robot created by a good scientist named Dr. Light who had to protect the world from an evil scientist named Dr. Wily. The Mega Man series became a smash hit among the gaming community for being the first video game that allowed you to choose the stages you wanted to play. This meant you could pick and choose which one you wanted to do first. At the end of a level, you face off against one of Dr. Wily's evil robots known as a Robot Master. You either win or you lose. It's as simple as that.
Well, duh.
If you beat the Robot Master, you gain their ability of which can be used on other masters, with one of them being absolutely weak to that weapon. According to Inafune, this concept was based off rock, paper, scissors. Sometimes you may find yourself with a group of abilities to choose from, with none of them being effective against the boss you are battling. Well, these days it is easy to look up the order you can tackle these bosses in. Back in the day, it was pretty much a guessing game unless you had a friend who had already beaten the game or managed to see a guide on the shelf at your local store. Whatever the case may be, it made for an interesting yet frustrating experience. There was nothing like it. In fact, the Mega Man franchise was so popular that it spawned a plethora of spin-offs, comic books, manga, toy lines, anime adaptations, and an American animated series that was well done despite being cheesy. That has got to be my favorite line from that series, along with being my favorite episode. Mega Man was even a prominent character in the Captain N cartoon series.
Just what I always wanted. What is it?
It's a battery charger, so you can energize while you sleep.
Mega thanks, Captain N.
Going back on the subject of frustration I just talked about a moment ago, I do want to mention that if you have not played a Mega Man game before, there is one thing you should expect when playing a Mega Man game. To die. A lot. After all, if you are not to the point of wanting to break your controller as you shriek a barrage of obscenities at your TV screen, you're playing the game wrong. Unless you're Mega Man X7, then that game. That game can... For example, these days when I play Gutsman's level in the original Mega Man, it pretty much goes like this. However, back when I played the game for the first time in the early 90s, this was pretty much what happened. That wouldn't have happened if my goddamn controller actually did the frickin' motion I had pressed on the damn button to... Oh, sorry. Where was I again? Oh yeah. The original Mega Man series ended up running for 6 installments on the original Nintendo console, which was followed up by additional sequels with updated designs and such on the Super Nintendo and PlayStation, which also introduced animated cutscenes. The series went on a hiatus until a 9th and 10th installment were created for the PlayStation 3 as downloadable games and harkened back to the look and feel of the second NES game, while Mega Man 11 was released not too long ago for the PlayStation 4 and was updated to match current standards. Anyway, during the time Mega Man 6 was in production, Capcom was looking to move the franchise to the newly created Super Nintendo and wanted something different. This led Inafune to come up with the concept of a new generation of machine men set approximately 100 years after the original series. The new Mega Man was codenamed X. This new game was revolutionary to the Mega Man franchise as it featured a whole new set of abilities to go with its updated graphics. To start, X had a robot friend named Zero that would end up dying halfway through the game. Sure, Zero would be brought back to life in the sequel, but the fact that a major player died was unexpected at the time. At least it was until they killed Zero off a couple of times and brought him back, and then it got quite redundant. In addition to Zero, X could acquire new armor pieces left by Dr. Light that would enhance his capabilities, such as giving him a dash ability that would become a staple for the X series, an arm cannon that could charge weapons, body armor that would have damage, and a helmet that would... do stuff. I mean, first game it lets you headbutt objects. Second game, you could find objects. Third game, it would show you a map with the hidden objects. Each game continued to include new ideas for X, and eventually Zero would become a playable character too, obtaining a lightsaber as to set him apart from X. Capcom even sprinkled the series with some fan service abilities, such as Ryu's Hadouken from the Street Fighter series. It was a one-hit kill weapon, however, you had to be at full health in order to use it. Sometimes you would get lucky and manage to take out several bosses with it, other times, not so much. There were also heart tanks that would increase your health bar and sub-tanks that would store energy so that when your health was low, you could use one to replenish it. This was a necessary task in order to win against some of the bosses, especially towards the end of the game. Despite new innovations, the core concept remained the same. You pick and choose the levels you want to play in, go through the various stages, defeat enemies who are now known as Mavericks, and so on. One of my favorite things about the original Mega Man X game is that defeating certain Mavericks causes certain levels to be affected. For example, defeating the ice boss Chill Penguin causes Flame Mammoth stage to be frozen over. While defeating Launch Octopus fills Sting Chameleon stage with water, allowing you to cross large chasms to acquire item upgrades. Furthermore, certain weapons could also damage certain Mavericks in unique ways. Firing Boomer Coinger's boomerang attack at Flame Mammoth and Launch Octopus would destroy their respective trunk and tentacles. Using Overdrive Ostrich boomerang attack would slice this boss in half upon defeat. It was little subtleties like this that really elevated the Mega Man X series above the original, and even a lot of the more modern installments that followed. Even the music in most of the games is very memorable, top-notch, and you'll have some of those tunes stuck in your head. The X series ran for 3 games on the Super Nintendo, 3 on the PlayStation, and 2 on the PlayStation 2 before being put to sleep. Oh, and for some reason there was an RPG X game, but we don't talk about that one. To say the series overstayed its welcome would be an understatement, as later installments of the series seemed to get lazy when it came to level design and bosses.
Won't lose!
Hell, Mega Man X6 was so bad that Inafune apologized for it. Of course, that didn't stop X7 from happening. The worst part about the X series was that the villain Don Sigma was the main boss of every game, and after a while, no matter who seemed to be in charge of the villains during the game, you knew Sigma was going to be back for the final battle. It was the worst kept secret. I'm not sure if Capcom just couldn't figure out anything original, or if they just started to troll their players. Either way, it did get tiresome after a while. Worse were the half-assed methods Capcom would use to have him return in the narrative, as they turned him into a virus and he kept coming back that way. Jesus, does Norton or Windows Defender not exist in the future? Like, come on. In fact, why would you program them with Windows-like applications? Why not just program with the Mac so that viruses can't affect them? Granted, Dr. Wily was always the boss of the original Mega Man series, but that was because Mega Man was unable to kill humans, so Dr. Wily always either got away or escaped prison. For the X series, Sigma was a freaking robot and was always dying.
Forever!
Sigma has so many final forms, even Frieza would be like, damn, son! After a while, fighting Sigma was boring, especially when the 5th game made it seem like it was indeed going to be the final battle with him. Another tragedy with the series is how the stories played out. Mega Man X4 featured full-on anime-esque cutscenes like Mega Man 8 had, and while the voice acting is atrocious, it was still awesome.
This is about our liberty and security. We must battle for our own individual rights.
I too share the general sentiment. Take heed, we have no other choice.
There's one sequence that shows a battle between Zero and Sigma in the early days when Zero was a rogue Reploid, and Sigma was a commander of the Maverick Hunters. Then X5 went back to generic text still shots. X6 continued the boring still shots, yet it at least included voice acting.
すでに知っておるかと思うが、今各地で不可解な現象が起きている。我々はその現象をナイトメアと呼ぶことにした。
I don't get why they went backwards from animated sequences to still shots outside of pure laziness. At the end of the day, good or bad, there is a reason as to why the Mega Man franchise continues to be loved even to this very day. It will forever reside in the hearts of anyone who has played one of their games, while piss-poor imitations like Mighty No. 9 will be forgotten.
Kill an enemy, and you can absorb their power-ups. Stuff that'll make you faster and stronger, and make the bad guys cry like an anime fan on prom night.
Yowza. Yeah. Possibly because of crap like that. Until next time.